Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sunday with Jay Barsky. This episode's guest is fellow comedian Flip Schultz. Flip is a well-known stand-up comedian that lives here in South Florida. For years, I've always bumped into him in different shows and just have little chit-chats with him, but this is the first time for us to really talk on a personal level. You'll hear us discuss how he started up in stand-up comedy back in 1992, his dry bar comedy special, and much more. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy our Sunday with Flip Schultz.
Clicked to me. It all kind of made sense, And yeah, and I think nice is not a hard thing to be, both on and off stage. And I think if you are that, the audience, I think, kind of warms up to you easier and quicker, and they trust you a little more, because even as a nice guy, I still have moments on stage where I can get a little angry, or I can get a little like
Sorry, I just want
yeah, just way to interrupt the flow, man. I'm trying to ignore you doing all this tech stuff over here. I'm just like, be a professional, be nice, Flip. You said you're nice, be nice, and then you just make sure. All right.
Sometimes I down myself. Like, I'm a one-man army when it comes to all of this. Like, usually, I don't know like how many podcasts you've done that's on camera, but usually like you have a sound guy or video.
No. I used to do one myself. I used to run one. I used to do my own myself. It wasn't camera, but yeah, I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, just being nice and being nice, it's it gives you longevity in the business because people will want to work with you. Because I honestly don't remember that show, so I don't know who that headliner was.
I'd rather not say. That's why
I wasn't going to ask. At least not on camera. I'm curious though. But the fact that just for me, I'm sure it was just like I'll go up, I'll close, I don't mind.
Yeah,
a small, a insignificant thing that I did, but it's something that you remember.
Yeah.
So that just shows the point that if you're good in the business, people remember you.
Yeah,
and it'll bode well for future bookings and people who want to work with you.
Yeah.
I'm right now, my main gig, I think, I do cruise ships.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And I'm kind of spoiled in a way because I always have a nice crowd. They're always, even if sometimes they're sold out, like literally people sitting on the floor in like a 300-seat club. And sometimes it's, maybe 80 people in that club.
Okay.
But there's always a crowd that are there like, all right, we want to be entertained, So I'm blessed like that. But I still go to open mics. I still love going to mics. And if I show up and there's 3 people, I'm like, all right, well, let me see if I can make 3 people laugh with this stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And if it's like 20 people, I'm like, well, this will be fun. This will be a fun little mic.
Yeah.
And but it's important. Like it's funny. I talk to like guys like you who've been doing it a couple of years, but you're still kind of in that embryonic phase.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, of course.
That was probably my favorite time of comedy is when you're starting and everything is, you meet friends that become lifelong. Like, there's still comics that I'm friends with today that I met at an open mic 30 years ago.
Wow.
Mike Panzica?
Yeah.
Mike, I met in 1994 at a random one-off show down in Fort Lauderdale. As far as locals, Carl Remy, Kyle Grooms, Ricky Cruz. So that was it was such a formative time, and it's like it's almost like your first year of college, and you're having all of these new experiences that stay with you forever. So that's why I still love doing mics, is because I kind of it keeps me in touch with that energy. And I get to see the new crop of guys coming up too, and I kind of live like it's like I'll never have kids of my own, so I live vicariously through open micers. Like, I remember when I was your age, comedically.
Me being a young comic and you being like older in your career, one thing that
saying in my career,
like you do cruise ships, and it's something I've always been interested. I would love to experience someday. I don't know if you're in between cruise ship shows or you just like finished a line of them.
Like right now?
Yeah.
I'm doing like this year, more than half the year I'm on ships.
Oh, okay.
You're just catching me I was on a ship. I was on for 6 weeks over a 7-week period, and I just got off about 2 weeks ago. But then last week I was working at McCurdy's Comedy Club in Sarasota, one of the best clubs in the country. Shout out McCurdy'sComedyTheater.com or McCurdy'sComedy.com. Great club. But I'm going back on a ship Saturday for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, ships are kind of like it for me. Ships have made me such a better comic.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm doing anywhere from 3 to 8, 9 sets a week in front of varying audiences of ages, demographic, nationalities. So I have to know how to navigate every kind of crowd, and it forces me to write more. Because if people are coming back to see me, I don't want to do the same 45.
Right.
So I'm always writing and always trying to think of some new stuff to do. It also made my crowd work sharper because you need to pad the set sometimes. And then sometimes I'll have like kids in the show. I'm talking like 4 or 5-year-olds in the front row, just like, and whenever I tell comics that, they go, "Oh my god," they think like you have to juggle or It's like, no, you just have to know how to work clean,
right,
but still keep the kids engaged. And it's a high wire to kind of walk, but I've been doing ships like 12 years now, so I'm like I'm really like in that center lane.
Yeah.
Now, like the sun pass from just like
yeah.
That's me speeding, by the way. That's not like a laser or a lightsaber.
You're really on your grind, and I really have to admire like comedians that that are still on it, like still being hungry and still like.
Look, I know a lot of comics that, especially older comics, even older than me, they have their 45. And they're like, that's all I need. I'm like,
yeah.
Number one, I go crazy if I'm just doing the same 45 for years, So I just mentally, I need to keep writing. But
of course,
in this day and age, it's not like, when I started in 92, and back then, pre-social media, I was taping on VHS tapes and sending those out to clubs with the veils on a printed paper, hoping to hear back for a date.
Yeah,
was a bigger grind, and kind of that's kind of where my mindset got to. But then, with social media, came with MySpace and Facebook and YouTube, and suddenly your online presence became just as important, if not more important, than your actual act. You adjust and you evolve, or you fall behind. And I know a lot of guys who have, because they're like, "Oh, I'm not on social media."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, dude, you're wondering why your phone's not ringing, or clubs aren't looking at your ships, whatever.
Yeah.
You really, it makes a difference. And I didn't want to be left behind, and I enjoy doing it too. But it's a business. Comedy, it's fun.
Right.
I love the fun of it, but I understand more of the business side too about, again, social media and financially. I know a lot of guys that were just like, like, no, I saved my money. I have some invested. I bought a home. I've got equity. Of
course,
you got to think of this as a long-term career.
Of course.
And if you don't, you're going to, again, get left behind or scrounging to barely make a living.
So you mentioned that you started stand-up in 92. So was this like after high school? I understand that you got into it? Or?
Well, actually, I've been first time I did stand-up, I was 8. I knew very, very young that's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
I always say it was as simple as, my name is Flip, my favorite color is blue, I'm a comedian. Like, it was just that ingrained in my DNA.
Gotcha.
So I did comedy in a talent show when I was 8 years old. Just impressions and bits that I wrote, and I won. I still have the trophy. It's one of my favorite possessions. And then I did like little talent shows throughout middle school and high school, doing comedic kind of acts. And then, a month after I graduated, no, it was the summer after I graduated high school, first semester in college, but a month after I turned 18, it was December 13th, 1992, my first like real open mic. And I did a few open mics after that, and then started like in 94. That's when Uncle Funny's opened. I started doing I kind of like comedically went into second gear, started doing more mics, finding more places to go up. And then in August of 97, I went full time, and
Oh, wow.
that's been it. So actually, wow. So next month it'll be 29 years full time comic.
Wow.
Like I said, I got my degree in theater, so I'm very into doing characters and voices.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for those who don't know, an act out is when you set up a joke with a thought or an idea, and then you act out the punchline through a physical movement or characterization. Comedy. So like that's why I like guys like Robin Williams and do you know Pablo Francisco?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Pablo, a very good friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I will openly admit he was a huge influence on me. First time I worked with him was in '97 at the Miami Improv, maybe '98, and I remember I was just like, I'd never seen him before.
Oh, wow.
And we all went out to like a bar afterward, and I remember saying to him, "You're exactly the kind of comic I want to be on stage. Just very free." Character voices.
Of course. I would say like a lot of comedians should watch you as for a master class, because I've learned one thing I really learned from you is callback. I saw you on a show and you came in and you did a callback and it was a big laugh, and then you're like, oh, that's a callback. And ever since then I'm like, I make sure like I like still watching comedians, like other comedians, especially ones I've never seen before. So even if I go to a mic, I watch like every comedian like before and after me.
Mhm.
Like I don't normally just hang out because I come for a show as well.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Besides and I would say like you're one person that I would just say that I listen for everyone and see if I can use something as a callback.
That's great. I do the same thing when I'm working with comics, especially just the comic right before me. I'm like, I always listen. If they say something, I'm like, okay, I could open with a callback to that. Or if they're telling a story like, I saw this guy at a red light and he was picking his nose, and I'm like, so I'm like, all right. So I go on stage like, so that night I'm at a red light, I'm picking my nose, and this guy, and it's just, it's a great way to open, and it shows that you're paying attention to the other act.
Of course.
It's a trick. It's like a magic trick to get the audience on your side.
Yeah.
It's nothing brilliant or nothing that I thought of. It's just I've seen guys do it. I'm like, that is a great way to open a show.
I love doing a good callback because it's like you can get a good callback and make the audience like probably get the biggest laugh within the first 10 seconds by saying like a couple of words, repeating what something the audience said.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, it shows the audience that you've been watching the show.
Of course.
So it's great. Yeah.
I like to watch shows, and I watch like other stand-up specials, and one channel I watch a lot is Dry Bar, which you have an awesome. I don't know if they've released the full-time special, but there are clips of your Dry Bar.
Yeah, I don't know if they've released it on YouTube yet. It's available for download at drybar.com.
I know we talked a little bit a while back about it, but can you share a little bit about filming the Dry Bar special?
Dry Bar, they're an amazing group. Like the venue is great. Their production is insane. They take great care of you. Really great people behind the scenes. I was way too in my head. I, even as a veteran of over 30 years doing this, I still got in my head, and you need to go into something like that. Just like it's just a show, it's a set, regular set. I was too like, this bit goes to this bit, and I watch it, and I'm just like, oh God, dude, you're so in your freaking head. And they give you 2 shows. Thank God. My first set I was way off. Like, and I just,
oh wow.
I have this expression that I use. I call getting an audience on a chain. Getting the audience on the chain. And my analogy is, when you would ride a bike and the chain would fall off the bike. So you have to kind of reset the chain, and then you got to pedal, have the chain catch the gear, essentially get the chain in rhythm with the pedaling, right? Might take you a couple pedals, but then it'll catch. That's how I equate the audience with a comic.
Okay.
You have to get in the same gear, get in my rhythm, and then I could take you wherever I want to take you.
Right.
First show, never got the audience on the chain. Just never did. And again, it was my fault. In between shows, I went to the bathroom. I looked myself in the mirror, threw some water on my face, slapped myself across the face, and go, relax.
Huh.
Second show, much better. That's the one they used. the experience
Right.
from Dry Bar was great, and the it's great credit. I don't think the special I haven't made any money off it. It's nothing like that. But they have put out some incredible specials
Yeah.
that there have been some guys that have their whole career is based on one Dry Bar special. You know,
I saw like at least I know it was at least like almost a 10-minute clip, but I really enjoyed it.
see that's that's funny. Like another comic or somebody who is into the business could watch the clip or the special. And go, oh, yeah, it was a great special.
Yeah, of course.
We're neurotic people.
Of course, yeah.
I've got as my joke goes, I have bad OCD and I have anxiety, so it's like I worry about everything but in alphabetical order. But it's true, my anxiety is very palpable.
Right.
It takes a lot for me to be pleased with a show. So I appreciate it. I really do. And I hope, for people who've seen it, thank you. And like I said, I'm sure people enjoy it, but personally it's like oof.
Well, I know what you mean. I make sure to do now, like habitually, is recording myself for every set, like every mic.
Good.
Like just not even sometimes just for a clip, just to like record in case something good comes up. But just to record myself. And I started doing this early because at first went like I want to say 6 months in, I didn't know like you would hear laughs, but being up there on stage, you don't hear the whole laughs.
Right.
Like so like it's not as big, or like sometimes you'll think, oh, I had an all right show, but it actually was a lot better.
Yeah.
After recording myself, I'm like, oh, I did get like really good laughs, but to me, like sometimes especially if there's people a little further away, and I think the speaker sometimes gets in the way of the hearing.
Doesn't come up.
Yeah, so like you don't really realize that you're having a good show, or the show's a lot better than you think it is. Yeah. Until like post, I actually record myself, and I was like, oh, I actually did good.
I've had that happen so many times where I'm like, God, that was awful.
Yeah,
that sucked. And then comics, what are you talking about? That was a great show. Yeah, I'm like, I couldn't hear. Are you kidding? We were all laughing. And then I watched the same thing that you said. It's also important to record yourself, audio and visual, if you can, because I'll watch my sets back. Like we were talking before we started that I do all the editing of my clips on social media. Sometimes I'll watch myself. I'm like, I never realized I do that with my hands, just in the moment, and I'm like, that looks so weird. Or I've realized I say and all the time, and I'm like, just did it, And I just think to myself, I gotta be more aware of that because it's really annoying. That's another one I do a lot too. I just said and
it's okay. I can remove it post.
No, it's okay. I don't. No, show up, warts and all, guys. But yeah, it's important to definitely record.
You also got a lot of albums out. One of your, and I noticed like I want to say your first album. You're like, I don't know how
out of a TV.
Yeah, something like that. It's like kind of like rock and roll-ish, and like I like that. And you have I don't know if you have your last one. I know at least is Flip on a Cruise, Flip on a Ship.
Yeah, that was from 2018, I think. Yeah, I haven't put out a new album in a while. I put out a couple. I put out my Dry Bar. I put out my Open Bar, which is Dry Bar is like evil twin. And I think I just recorded a new one in Sarasota, which I'll probably put on YouTube for free when I get it done. But yeah, that was back when CDs and albums were good merch. The first one I did that was it's called Flipping Through the Channels. I did that in 1999.
Oh wow.
And the premise, I recorded that. There used to be a Rascals comedy club in Kendall, Florida, which is like just outside of Miami, in the Miami area. And it was a feature set. So it was like a 25-minute set.
Okay.
But then I wrote these sketches and songs that I recorded with my friend who had a cool setup. And so the CD, it was a little like an Adam Sandler, Cheech and Chong kind of thing, mixing live and studio bits. And all of the sketches were kind of like TV shows, like it was a commercial parody, or if it was like a song that took place on a TV show. And so and in each track was separated by static, like you were literally flipping through the channels. So that's why that I call that a concept comedy album.
Okay.
Yeah, the image was like me coming out of a TV, kind of like going, and then
Yeah.
flipping through the channels and like lightning font, like static. It was fun though. That to me, that CD is almost like an open mic CD because it was the first one I did. It was very guerrilla, and I listen to it now. I'm embarrassed by a lot of the material, but I could still hear the excitement of like doing the sketches with my friend and putting that together. And then, 99, I was like 24 that's when I got a copy of the CD, and it was so cool to hold because again, this is back in when making a CD was a huge big deal. To have a physical CD to sell after your show made you look really, really professional. So it was cool. But yeah, maybe if this new thing I recorded, if it comes out nice, I might put the audio out as a CD. Who knows?
I know like Jimmy Schubert just came out with his album and that like they've been showing, which I think one of the albums that it was ranked that he was around with was George Carlin, which I understand that maybe you worked with him in the past.
What a segue.
I do my research a little bit.
That was just, Jimmy Schubert and he was with Carlin. Speaking of which, that's my segue.
What's it called? Like 9 degrees of.
Yeah, I got to. I work with Carlin. I toured with him a little bit. That was amazing. That happened because when I moved it. All right, so this was 2000. I got signed to this. My second CD was done through a record label called Laugh.com. And they were reissuing old comedy albums on CDs, like discontinued albums. I got the rights to them and discovering new artists and putting them out. And so I did a CD with them, and George Carlin and his manager were partners in the record label. So one of the other partners who happened to be, do you know who Milton Berle was?
Yep.
Milton Berle's nephew, Marshall. Marshall, wow, he saw me at the New Orleans Comedy Festival, signed me to do an album, liked what I did, came to see me at a show in Sarasota, funny enough, recorded my set, which I actually still have, sent it to Carlin's manager, a guy named Jerry Hamza. Jerry, and I was on my way to move out to LA like a few months later. And Jerry liked me. I was young, I was new. He liked what I was, my act, whatever. So I remember I moved out to LA. I don't even have an apartment yet. I'm couch surfing. And Marshall calls me and goes, hey, so George Carlin's manager, Jerry, he wants to meet you. I'm like, why? He goes, because he wants to work with you, you dumb F. Told me not to curse. So I met Jerry Hamza, and he was like old school, like, hey, how you doing, kid?
Yeah.
And we sat and we talked, and he pitched me how he wanted to work with me, and I thought it was cool, so signed with him. And I go to his house. He had this beautiful house in like Brentwood. It's like gorgeous part of LA. And he goes, hey, George is doing some shows in Florida. That's where you're from. I go, yeah. You want to open for him? Yeah.
Wow.
So cut to like, I moved out to LA in January. I think April or May, I'm coming back to Florida opening for Carlin at these theaters.
Oh, wow.
It was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I remember my parents came to see it. It was really cool. So I go on stage, I do 10, and I just kill. Like, it was one of those sets where just
nice.
Everything was hitting. And I used to have this closer that was a surefire, just always annihilated. And it's just insane. And I knew Carlin was watching me, so I was so glad I had a great set. And I bring up Dennis, I walk off stage, and Carlin, he's just kind of nodding and smiling. He goes,
oh, wow.
Puts his arm around me, goes, kid, you were funny. Man, you're like an ostrich on PCP out there. Because I was very physical back then.
Of course.
Yeah, it was, and I did like 3 or 4 shows with him, and it was really, really cool. Very generous, supportive of. Matter of fact, I'll never forget this too. We're talking about Jimmy Schubert. Jimmy had come out with a new CD at the time, and Jimmy was a huge Carlin fan, so he goes, hey, Flip, do me a favor. Can you give this, give this CD to George? I'd just love to get his thoughts on it. I'm like, yeah. So I give George, and it was like, it wasn't an official, it was still like a burned preview copy.
Yeah.
And I gave it to George, and I explained, and he goes, yeah, I'll listen to it. And next time I see him, I go, oh, did you listen to the CD? He goes, it was a bad CD. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell Jimmy that George thought his CD was awful. And I remember going, really? He goes, oh, no, I mean, I couldn't play it. It was a bad CD. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to tell Jimmy, like, sorry, your idol thinks you suck. Yeah, no, it was, I got to work, dude. I got to work with I've been so blessed. Not only did I work with Carlin, some of my personal heroes, I got to tour with Weird Al.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To this day, I still, when I get to see him in concert, I go backstage and say hi to him.
Oh, nice.
The kid in me still just freaks out. I got to work with Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I worked with Bill Burr before he was anything, like, not before he was anything, but before he was blown up.
Yeah.
Geez, like I started with like open micing in LA with like Ken Jeong, Craig Robinson, Adam Devine, Eliza Schlesinger, just like all these incredible comics that I got to either come up with or legends that I got to work with later on in my career. Just really, really cool.
So last Friday, I actually was in Fort Myers of, I think, Snappers Comedy Club over there. They had a comedy contest. So I had to get off work at 4:30, and this was through like bad weather, like horrible weather, and hurry up to get there and check in by, I think, 8:30 or something. And like weather was horrible. I almost turned around, and just to do like my 5 minutes set for the comedy contest. Didn't advance, but it was just a fun experience. I just wanted the experience to go there. And then next morning just had to hurry up and drive back to like responsibilities to hurry me back.
Right.
And I was telling my brother like my itinerary the whole time, and he's like, "Why do you do this?" And it's like I can't really explain it to someone that hasn't really
in it.
Yeah, that's in it, because like when you're in it, you'll understand like why I have to drive the other side of the state just to do a good 5-10 minutes and then like hurry up.
I mean, I remember this is, I think, in 99, 2000. No, maybe it's earlier than that. I drove to Nashville to do a spot for like an NBC showcase. Just driving to Nashville from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, wow.
Just for a spot, not even a hotel. I did it all. And I ended up booking a week at the club too as a middle, but God, this one time, this is one of the craziest road things I did. This is, I think, in 98, 99. I drove from here, Fort Lauderdale, to Tampa, where I featured at Side Splitters. Then drove, it was, I think, South Carolina or maybe Georgia, to MC at this room for like $250. And I put so many miles on my car. And it was, and looking back on it now, I go like, it was a lot of driving and a lot of
course,
and just to do a 5-10 minute emceeing spot.
Yeah.
But it's what you have to do in the beginning years, man. I remember my ego was like, I was just killing. I think it was part of the Nashville run. I was just killing featuring in Tampa and Nashville.
Yeah.
Now I'm emceeing it for blah, blah, blah. And I had this like chip on my shoulder about it. But in hindsight, it's like, no, it's what you got to do.
Yeah.
This is how you get better and how you meet and how you network. Like going across the state to Snappers.
Yeah.
What your brother doesn't understand is that's where you're being seen by people in the industry.
Yeah.
That's where you're meeting new comics and networking. It's not just about doing 5 minutes. It's every aspect of the business that is show,
Are you a guy that practices routines? Do you felt like, especially when it comes to your writing or just preparing for your stand-up or your artwork?
There's some comics that like, okay, I am going to write. This is my hour of writing. I'm not like that. I write when inspiration hits me.
Okay.
I always have my phone with me in case I come up with an idea, and I'll just go joke idea, and I'll talk it in my phone. And then I have I'm not sure if you ever saw the book. I have a book about this thick of every joke I've ever written, categorized. CD. So what I'll eventually do is go through my notes, and then I'll type out the joke in whatever category it's supposed to go in. I always try to do a walk every morning. I live in a place that's right on a lake, so I call it my lake walk, where I do like a half-mile walk. Because, got to stay active.
Of course.
But I think creatively wise, I'm always just honestly like I always try to get up as much as I can. I know it's such a cliche answer, but I'll reach out to some locals that I know. Go, hey man, any mics going on tonight? And this is the one time where being a veteran has its advantage, where I'll walk into any mic and just bump who's ever next. Like I want to go up and do 10. Sorry, but yeah, aside from that, I don't really have a rigid ritual or anything to keep me in line. I just whatever I've been doing has been working. I edit. I like almost every day I edit. So I have that as kind of a creative outlet. I usually go get a coffee at a Panera, and just sit and watch my sets and clip up.
Okay. Do you have any practices that help motivate you that you recommend for our listeners?
I have in my home, I have like a couple of dry erase boards. I always have something positive written on there.
Okay.
That I always, to remind myself, not to get into this whirlpool, but the world is a little crazy right now, and sometimes, especially scrolling, do you doom scroll? Yeah, and it's just like, oh my god, everything's going to shit. I have something on my fridge. It just says, I can't do anything about that. I can only control how it affects me.
Right.
Make people happy. That's how I can contribute to making it better. And I have that, and it's just, and I have, everything will be fine. And in my office, I have you're killing it. Everything is great. Keep doing what you just these motivating things. So I think that's very important. And I journal a lot too.
Oh wow, nice.
And sometimes through journaling, I'll come up with a bit. Just
of course, yeah. And are you working on anything right now that our listeners, our viewers should know about?
Well, like I mentioned, I just recorded a couple of sets at McCurdy's literally last week, and my goal was one set was going to be clean, the other set was going to be like a regular club set, and the clean set, I'm hopefully going to edit both of them into I don't want to call it a special because it's not high end or anything. Right. I might just call it a presentation. But the clean one, I'm going to, when I get it done, offer it on cruises for sale. And the regular set, I'm going to just put up on YouTube for something for free. So all I could tell your viewers is follow my socials. I'm at Flip is Funny. And hopefully I'll have an announcement soon or something like that. Otherwise, just grinding. Just grinding and thriving, man.
Any final thoughts you want to leave with our viewers?
Just to circle back to how this whole conversation started, just be nice. Be a good person. This world is filled with too many bitter, angry, fighting, divisive people. Just be nice. Nice. Just you don't have to go volunteer in Somalia, but hold the door open for somebody. Somebody cuts you off, don't freak out. Let them into traffic. Right. Little things. I was having lunch with my niece yesterday, and I'm one of those guys that I'll just if I'm at a restaurant and the server comes, I get their name, and I'll, even if it's a stupid dad joke, I'll say something just to get them to laugh or smile or whatever. And my niece goes you always do that, or you always try to make a joke, and I go, well, you see how she just laughed or smiled? And that was real. She's gonna take that little happy energy to somebody else, give them a little extra smile, and it's the little seeds you plant, of course, that'll eventually make a nice, forest of content and goodness. And that's why my act, I don't talk politics, I don't do any of that. I just want people to leave my show feeling good, and that's what I try to leave in the world, and that's what the thing I would leave with your viewers is just be good. Be nice. Be good. Be nice. Well, Flip Schultz, I appreciate. By the way, if I die, I want that to be the clip they show. Of course. Like at the end of a documentary about me, I could just see it from this angle. Just be good. Just be nice. Fade. Flip Schultz. 74 to 2074. I'm living to be 100. Yeah. I'm gonna play it at your funeral. Please. Come on, let's put the fun in funeral. I like that. Well, Flip,
I appreciate you coming out here.
Thanks for having me,
Coming
Jay.
on
It was a great
Sunday with
conversation.
Jay Barsky, but thank you so much. And I appreciate everything that you shared with us today.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for listening to our episode with Flip Schultz. Follow him on all his socials, which you may find in the episode notes. I hope you enjoyed our episode. Please rate and comment on the podcast to help make it grow. If you wish to follow me, all my socials are at I am Jay Barsky. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.